if you're
I'm
living
sorry, go ahead.
outside of the US and you have a US LLC, the first thing you would do is you'll pay yourself a salary. LLC will pay yourself a salary in Canada or Nicaragua, whatever, right?
Right.
And that salary in those countries, 90% are not taxed. And to the LLC, it's an expense. You're paying taxes in the US based on profits. I'm just explaining a simple explanation about what I did, right? A foreign CEO of like an S Corp in the US, you could pay yourself up to $600,000 and not pay taxes.
If you have a job in New York, the cost of living is so high, it's because the job is in New York. But if your income is separated from your location and it's virtual, then I feel like that is just a recipe that, like, how could you fail at that point?
But I think like a lot of people fall in too much into the lifestyle. So the more money you make, you just end up spending. And I actually had a conversation with this with Glenn.
Right, he made 500K or something in a month, in a year. So basically, there's a dude that joined recently. He made like 500K in a year, and then he just, as he's making money, his lifestyle kept increasing.
Right.
And then he didn't preserve any of that. How does an LLC work? Like, if you are living somewhere else, right, and then you have an LLC, are you liable for the taxes in the US?
Okay,
Yeah,
so
I would. I mean, you.
if you're
I'm
living
sorry, go ahead.
outside of the US and you have a US LLC, the first thing you would do is you'll pay yourself a salary. So this US LLC will pay yourself a salary in Canada or Nicaragua, whatever, right?
Right.
And that salary in those countries, 90% are not taxed. And to the LLC, it's an expense. So at the end of when you file, you're paying taxes in the US based on profits. I'm just explaining a simple explanation about what I did, right? A foreign CEO of like an S Corp in the US, you could pay yourself up to $600,000 and not pay taxes. 600 grand a year.
So you would save everything if you just went to if you just were located in Nicaragua too. What is like the taxes there?
So they have something called basically if you're not making money physically in Nicaragua, you don't pay them any taxes.
So you'd save everything too, just building the
Yeah,
business.
I wasn't paying taxes for a very long time.
Okay. How
Like
about like
legally, right? Like I'm not saying it's
yeah.
legal. You need a corporate structure. You need the money to go into the bank account. You need a W-2 with your salary every month. Like it's tracked, right? It's not just like some.
Pamela, I'm curious to hear your thoughts on like the move to Nicaragua to like build your business. Like give me your thoughts, yeah?
Did you say me?
Yes.
My main question is how many snakes are there?
Snake, you don't have, yeah, it's a all the so 90% of the expats, meaning the foreigners, the Americans, the Canadians, Australians, live on the beach, live in a beach town. So it's
Okay.
developed. So in that area, you don't have that problem.
Okay,
You
so
can go
so that's
find
the
the
main
snake.
thing. I don't want to open up my door to a 10-foot snake.
Yeah, you're not moving up in the mountains where I would live.
Yeah. You know, honestly, my main goal is to get a stretch of land that would be to myself that I would either pay people to manage land. So wherever that is, whether it's in the US or a different country, because I just want to be away from people, preferably flat land. So if I want to farm it, I can.
Right.
Yeah, because the whole becoming self-sustainable is appealing to me.
And where are you? Where are you in the US?
I'm in Ohio right now.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah.
a lot of Ohio is not appealing to me,
Yeah, most of
but
the
that
mid,
goes,
yeah, as a fellow Midwesterner, yeah, most of the Midwest states, because I'm in Minnesota, Ohio included, Wisconsin, all those states are so unappealing to me. Like they're just so
well,
bland.
for me, it's political, so I won't go into it. But a lot of
Yeah.
Ohio is not appealing to me because of that. No matter how distant they are, I don't really want those neighbors. But somewhere like if I moved in the Midwest, it'd be somewhere like Illinois. But New York farmland wouldn't be bad either. Because New
And
York's well known for
what
their
type
country.
of goal is that financially? Did you look at how much that would cost?
Illinois is actually pretty reasonable for the US. You're still talking if you're talking a house, maybe a barn plus some land, you're still talking around 300,000.
Right.
Now, if
Okay.
I get my credit up, I could do a mortgage and it'd be about 2,000 a month.
A month. Right.
Yeah. But honestly, I want to get to the point that I could just, if I'm in the US, I want to do a cash offer on something. Because one, you save a lot of money with that. Two, you no longer have to deal with the mortgage if you do a cash offer. You just got to
Right.
pay, because like a house near me was going for 150,000. Someone bought it for 75,000 because they did cash offer.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah, and it
How
was real
much?
nice. 75,000.
Wow.
And
What?
it was
A
a 3 bedroom with a
wait,
balcony, new roof.
wait, what? Did you say
Yeah.
a house?
Yeah, Ohio, the Cleveland, because I'm in the Cleveland area, they're actually pretty decently priced for the US for houses. Now, you will get some houses, like
I'm
I toured this
shocked.
one house that was going for 120,000, and the stairs were so steep, gravity was pulling me back as I was walking up the stairs. And that's something you can't really fix because, the stairs are steep like that because of the way the house is built,
Mm.
I'm just shocked. 75,000?
Yeah, I was too, and I was completely jealous because I really like the house.
Like what is it in the middle of nowhere? Like
No, it was in the main Cleveland city. It wasn't downtown, but it was near West 150th, which isn't, no, West 120th, which isn't too far out. It's
wow,
about a 15-minute drive from downtown.
that's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty crazy.
You,
And the
you know,
house needed very little repair. It just really needed a pillar placed in the living room because the roof was starting to sag where someone had renovated and removed a pillar.
right. Before I get into that, I want to get Jonathan and Mark's opinion. I mean, Farouk's opinion. What guys, give me your thoughts on the move to Nicaragua. What do you, because you guys will have a different perspective.
I mean, Jonathan, go ahead.
Sorry, I kind of been in and out. I've been trying to call eBay to get this account unrestricted, but what was the topic again? Moving to Nicaragua?
I can
Bas-
You can start,
Yeah.
Farouk, yeah, and then I'll chime in.
yeah, I mean, I hope you guys don't find offense, but yeah, I'm not, bro, I was born in Pakistan. I'm not going to a third world country. You know what I mean? So, I went to Pakistan
Oh,
like a
you were
couple years
born in
ago.
Pakistan.
Yeah, I was born in Pakistan, but I came
Okay.
here pretty early, but like when I was like 4 or 5 years old. But I went to because my parents hadn't seen their own like family for like 10 years, so we literally stayed in Pakistan for 2 months. There's great things about it, like family and stuff, and like the people, but like my family is even rich there. Like one of my dad's side is rich, but my mom's side is poor. Even the rich side, just I love America, bro.
I
No
One of my-
I
expat.
came
One of
back
my
and I
close-
took a shower. I started crying, bro. I still remember this to the day.
One
So I
of my
just-
closest friends in Nicaragua is from Pakistan, Shahid. He's I told you about him, Savi.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah. No, that
For-
great make total sense.
Nah,
Jonathan,
for
give
me,
me
I just can't do it. I just can't do it, bro. I've lived in the ghettos of all over. I've lived in Cali. I've lived in New York. Yeah,
But
I
Mark
don't know.
was saying that it wasn't like it's not like Pakistan or Bangladesh.
Yeah, no. Like you living in yeah, it's not the same. It's hard to explain.
Farouk,
I gotta come
whatever,
visit. I gotta come visit
Farouk,
maybe.
whatever you said
Right,
is the
that's what I'm
exact
saying.
thing that I
Come and
told
see it.
Mark.
I'll be there for 3 months. Just come down there. Like you'll be on the beach with just foreigners, dude. Like it's not like
Let's talk about it. That is appealing though. You know, but
all it is.
I like my
is a
life. I
beach.
like my life here. You know, I'd rather just
Right,
make more
right.
money.
Listen, that's the real secret. You live where you want, and you could travel anytime you want. That's the way I've done it. So
Right. The one main thing I did it for was to get my time back for as least money as possible. Right?
No,
So
100%.
any
That's
little thing
for
I didn't
sure.
like to do, like anything, that time I would just work instead of like doing it, worrying about anything. Like even buying food, I'd stop like going to the grocery store. Like, you know what I mean?
Well, how's like the communication part? You know, like I mean, obviously, do you speak Spanish or like what's?
I mean, I speak Spanish, but when I moved there, I couldn't speak Spanish. And then, like the town, like in San Juan del Sur, in this town, most everyone speaks English. So it's not like where I'm talking about, is like next to Costa Rica. So it's like a spillover of
Yeah.
Gringolandia in Costa
Uh
Rica. That like,
I see, I see, I see, I see. Well, yeah, yeah, that's interesting. Maybe I gotta come
that's
through.
what I'm saying. It's very like when if you go out, you gonna see like American and Canadian bars, right? Like like.
Yeah,
It's
Farouk,
not,
yeah.
everything you said, I totally understand what you're saying. It was the
yeah.
same things that I asked Mark actually when he brought it up,
But you
right?
have to see it. You have to experience it. This is what I'm saying.
Right. And then I
Yeah,
asked
yeah.
Mark, like, Mark said the most powerful thing here. He said it was a way to buy back his time,
Yeah,
right?
that's all it
If
is.
if for whatever reason something goes wrong, like, and everything goes to hell, right? Imagine taking 6,000 bucks and then just going there. You have 10 months of time that you bought back.
Right. Like that. You know what I mean?
Right. And then not only that, you're living like some type of luxurious life while you
Yeah.
have like 10 months to build back your business or whatever the case is, right? In
Well,
the end of the day, e-commerce is a skill, right?
so
And the thing with businesses is sometimes you have to build it first to see the fruits of your labor.
so
No, go
so
ahead.
Mark, what made you like go over there in the first place? Like
Um, I lived in the States. I went to Costa Rica. I was living in Costa Rica on the beach, but I was spending the same amount of money that I was spending as when I was living in the States. So when
I see.
I asked people like what to do. And one of my friends, he happened to go to Nicaragua to learn Spanish. So he was like, it's just like Costa Rica, but it's cheap. So like, what do you mean? So like he explained
Oh,
like right over the border, as you cross the border from Costa Rica to Nicaragua, there's a town with like 40,000 people, which are just like digital nomads, surfers, people who don't want to spend money, people farming, people who don't want to spend the money in Costa Rica. They have the whole expat community just there. So there's that. So when I went there, I started there. I was like, huh. But like I spent like a year or two, like a year there, and then I learned Spanish, and then I personally went exploring in like in Spanish town. But like Ecom Tom, who he doesn't do YouTube anymore. But he had came down to Nicaragua. He's from Boston, right? He came down to Nicaragua for like one of the Grand Camps and then bought a house in this town in the same San Juan del Sur. He stopped doing YouTube. He was there for like a year or two or something, and then sold the house and made like 90 grand from the price he first bought it. But so it's you have to see it.
yeah,
It
yeah,
allows you to work with less money, but in that environment, you're not. I'm not saying go to like you don't even have to speak Spanish. Like it's
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah, yeah. No,
when
no,
people
no.
hear
I hear you loud
Nicaragua,
and
they think
clear.
war and drugs and all type of craziness.
Yeah, no, I hear you loud and clear. I think, I mean, everything you guys been talking about, I think eventually we're gonna get to the point where, like the UK, for example, right? Like, freedom and you can't even talk type of thing. So I think eventually, I did always think that, but yeah, it's a tough decision. I think, I'm kind of,
Like
you know,
Farouk, I'm the same way as you. Like I'm a Canadian. I love Canada too. Like
yeah,
the thing that I told Mark when he was telling me about that, I asked him about the weather, and then while he was talking, I told him I'm wearing boots and I'm wearing a jacket right now. Right?
Yeah.
Am I gonna be able to wear that there? It's
I
just
was
yeah,
like, no.
like, bro, I'm used to like the snow and like the cold weather, like, and funny enough, that's actually what I like. You know what I mean? So
yeah, 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 yeah,
that was
yeah,
my main. It's cold in Canada. Mark said he lived in Edmonton.
Yeah, that
Edmonton,
was
it had a prehistoric historic level of cold last year, and like I'm okay with that because I
yeah,
we do skiing, we do stuff like that here, right?
yeah, well, I'm
Like
not I can't.
people skate to work. That's that's how Canadians are
wow,
sometimes.
wow,
Yeah,
that's amazing. That's cool though. That's cool though.
there's a huge canal that you see
Yeah.
people in Ottawa that they go and they skate to work, right? That's the, like that's the kind of. But what attracted to me to what Mark did was there was a book called The 4 Hour Work Week, right? By Tim Ferriss. right? And he mentioned two secrets to get to freedom, right? Number one was outsource labor, VAs. Number two, get your cost of living down by living in a foreign country, right? And those two exact lessons, that book that I was talking about, I applied one of them, right? The concept of the VAs came to me because I read that book, right? And then secondly, the move into another country, I never did that, right? Because alhamdulillah, I was somehow like kind of scraped together to kind of over to make more income than I was spending, right? I got kind of lucky. But if that situation didn't happen, and some people are in that situation, but Mark was someone that applied those exact foundations. And Mark told me at one time he didn't have a job for like, I think since you were like early 20s or something.
Yeah, I haven't had a job. I graduated from college in 2005. I was 23 and I never had a job since.
Right. And
Wow.
he was able to do that because he optimized, he bought his time back by going to
Yeah, it's the
places like
most
that.
bizarre thing. Like once I realized you could buy your time back, and like even physically down there, like when I had the office down there, there were actual pilots, like who could fly a plane, managing an eBay account for me, dude. And I'm
Wow.
like, for like $600 a month, I'm like, you could fly a plane, dude. Like,
That's crazy.
and you
That's
speak English.
crazy.
And like on the
Wow.
weekends, I would like rent a plane for $600 an hour, and he will go jump in the plane and fly me around.
Wow.
It's crazy. Crazy.
Yo,
God.
you said when again? When can I come again?
I'll be there for 3 months from January to March because
January to March.
like I have some land down there, but I made the mistake. Like I have a son there, right? So I made the mistake and bought land like not in the like tourist expat area
Yeah,
because like
yeah.
my son's mother's Nicaraguan, so I bought land up there. But when I go back, I'm gonna spend like I have a lot of friends there. Carlos is there, like I know most of my tattoos were done on this beach, but
Wow.
I think the
by a
truly
Canadian
amazing
from Iraq, an Iraqi Canadian. Now that I think about it, Hami.
I think the truly amazing thing about everything that we're doing is that it's virtual, right?
Right.
It is that digital nomad life, right? That you can literally go and take this anywhere in the world, right? Um, like if you really think about it, the true value that we have, right, is that we're not chained anywhere. Like we don't have to be any specific, unless you have like family or anything, but regarding the income, right? If you have a job in New York, the cost of living is so high, but it's because the job is in New York. But if your income is separated from your location and it's virtual, then I feel like that is just a recipe that, like, how can you fail at that point? Like all of us are just learning to make money online, right? And if we continue on this path, right, we're gonna continue making money. It's like Mark's been doing it
Right.
for what, like 20 years now.
Right. But I would say I think it is important, like for someone like Jonathan, who's like pretty young and so on, it's important that you spend the time to build up two things. Spend the time to build up the systems and also don't spend all the money. Right?
Hmm.
That's like as you make money, like a fixed amount, save it and like build the systems on the other side.
I, for me, I find that if you ever get trapped in that job cycle, right, you're literally working 9 to 5. Like that is such a
Right.
huge chunk of time that gets invested into like not building yourself. You know what I mean? If for whatever
Sure.
reason, like somehow like everything goes down, I think my next move would be to just join Mark in Nicaragua for like maybe like I don't know, like get there. Maybe I'd get there for 10 months, 12 months. I'm sure like we can build back up to whatever level
Mhm.
if we just have the time.
Right. If you have the time, and that was the thing. That was I think that's one of the being an entrepreneur, you want to have that that speed. You want to have that time,
Right.
and you don't. And if I had to like have to, I mean, there's nothing wrong with getting a job, right? Like my girlfriend, she's a clinical psychologist. She works for a company and gets paid good money, right? Luckily, she could work online. She works in New York, but like once you have the ability, like right now, we all have the ability to make money online. We have it. We physically have it now. So I say now we take advantage of it as much as possible and invest in time and into systems and saving money, so
Right. And there was
So
also another thing that Mark told me, Farouk, before you like go ahead, Farouk, say that because it's gonna
no,
change
I
the
was just
topic.
gonna say group trip to Nicaragua.
No, seriously, I was thinking
No,
about
yeah,
joining
I'm
Mark
actually
too.
interested. Like it's true. I mean, I'm
just
just
look up
corporate right now.
San
I'm
Juan del
literally a
Sur,
corporate slave
Nicaragua.
right now.
Look up San Juan del Sur, Nicaragua. If that's
Like
where you're looking at.
I got you. I was just working on my eBay account, but
Yeah.
yeah, I got you. I'll do that right now. I'm actually interested because I feel like I'm actually literally stuck in the corporate slavedom. So
Even if
holy,
it's
Right.
just an introduction for you to see what is there.
yo, that's crazy.
I
It's like that
I
looks
def
insane.
from my immature perspective, just from the people I've seen, I do definitely think there's at least seasons of traveling, where like, my mentors, even like in drop shipping, I'd say like you ultimately do have this tendency to want to return to home, right? But
Right,
like
right.
sometimes you want to get out and you just gotta go somewhere, even if it's just some random country for 40 days or something. And I think there's a lot of utility to it. And I do think people eventually want to come back home because it's like what they're familiar with and they have like their
For
identity is
sure.
there. But
Right.
yeah, I definitely think there's a lot of use, just the financial and the emotional to get out to new places.
Jonathan, I think right now you're living with your family, yeah?
Yep, living in the same room I've lived in since I was a kid, yeah.
Right. So right now you have like that security. So to me that doesn't make sense because you have the time.
Yeah.
But in for someone who is not in that situation,
Well, if you're
right?
paying for everything, it makes a lot of
Right.
sense to go somewhere a lot cheaper, and then you
Right.
build yourself up there, and then if you want to, you can come
Exactly.
back, and then you can afford
Right.
everything. Like
Exactly.
I would legitimately consider maybe like early next year, like if I'm where I think I'm going to be, just going somewhere wherever it
Right.
is cheaper, and then building
Jonathan,
myself up for a year.
you're the guy that like I could tell what if you did that what would happen, right? You wouldn't just go there and like enjoy the luxury and call it a day. You'd probably
No,
be
no.
there and like just work every
And
day,
work.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then 1 year later your business is even more
Well,
powerful than what it used to be.
Well, like Dan was saying, there's difficult times ahead, and I truly do believe that. That's part of the reason why I'm pushing all this stuff so hard, and I got into it. Like, I really
Right.
want to
Yep.
future-proof myself, and
Yep.
I don't believe in living for now and neglecting the future, right?
hmm hmm
Right, right. And there was another topic that Mark told me. So just so you guys know, Mark is like way more experienced than I am. Yeah, and he brought this to my attention. Great conversation to have. He said that when you make money, you have to protect your assets, right?
Yeah.
It's not just about making money, right? It's about
Yeah.
preserving it as well. Right. So, Mark, do you mind speaking and sharing that wisdom a bit? Because, like I feel like we talk so much about making money on eBay, but the way to freedom itself is there's other components, just like the things that we talk about off camera.
Right. I mean, where do you want to start? Where do you want me to start? When we were talking about it, I was talking to you about
Just like a general introduction. We don't have to go too deep into it, but like and Dan, you might be able to chip in here as well, right?
right,
Um,
like something that Dan was saying, something was that Dan mentioned about his daughter having like investment properties and so on, right? Like when you have the ability to make, let's say to make money with eBay, you scale that business way past your expenses, and then you could use the extra money to invest in something like real estate, and you could monetize that whether short term or long term. And there's a lot of different things you could do. But I think like a lot of a lot of people fall in too much into the lifestyle. So the more money you make, you just end up spending. And I actually had a conversation with this with Glenn. He talked about like,
Right, he made 500K or something in a year.
yeah,
Yeah,
he
yeah.
was just making money dropshipping on eBay, and
And his
he's talking to me
lifestyle
on
kept
DFE, and
increasing.
he's in Las Vegas spending the money.
Yeah. So basically, there's a dude that joined recently. He made like 500K in a year, and then he just, as he's making money, his lifestyle kept increasing, and
Right.
then he didn't preserve any of that.
Right. So
So it's
I just, like me personally, I try to put myself in a place where even if I made a mistake or even if I was trying to live excessive, it still wasn't affecting the actual number I'm able to save and try to like put money into assets and so on. You know what I mean? And I
right.
think it's important for us, especially the guys who like once you get up to making $5,000 a month, even $2,000 a month, right? If it is above like what you need to spend, like all of that planning should be put in place. But I think the real goal should be five or 10,000 or something.
So what is like an entry point, like an asset that's, like people can get into, like let's say Nicaragua. What is like, is there like a property or something that somebody can get into to start building at like 10,000?
Yeah, like Pamela talked about land. You could get like 2 acres of land 300 meters from the beach for like $8,000.
8,000, and then that property value increases. Is there a way to like cash flow that business with through Airbnb or something like that?
I mean, you would have to there, I mean, yeah. So like in all of these, you're targeting like tourists if you're doing Airbnb, right? So you could go the lower end Airbnb or higher. Like I've done. There's a lot of options, but the initial investment would be a lot lower than in other countries, and you could use AirDNA and some of these pieces of software to actually make educated bets instead of just like,
So the lowest financial barrier to entry for somebody, right? Mark, what would be a plan for somebody to build assets and protect them in Nicaragua? Like, what
you
would your
build
advice
in
be?
stuff with a little bit of money that you're not getting debt on. So you're
And
not getting mortgages, you're not borrowing the money. So even if your cash flow goes up or down, you don't risk like being in debt where it could be taken away. So
right.
I try to use those like
But what's a real example that you can give somebody? Since you've like been through the motions already.
you buy 1.8 acres for 8 grand. You spend, if you want to be cheap as hell, you spend $15,000 and put up a hut with AC in it, and you put it on Airbnb as a retreat, a healthy retreat, and people pay like,
And what
and
can
you
you
get like
realistically expect to cash flow from that?
you get 60%. I can check it. You get 60% occupancy in San Juan del Sur at like $70 a night.